Hey guys, Justin here. Hey, sorry about not uploading for a little while. My wife and I were in a NFL game on Monday. We were at the Browns. Just didn't get a chance to get a video preloaded, so yeah, just didn't upload. Kind of taking a break anyway. But I have been excited to do this video. So I picked this knife up last week, I think. This is the American Service knife, the Jefferson is what it's called. So these are all named after like American icons, like people, and I think some ships and stuff. And these are made by the American Service Knife Company, or ASK is what their abbreviation is, which is owned by Medford Knife and Tool. So essentially this is a knife that's designed by Greg Medford and manufactured by them and then sold under the ASK brand. The premise behind this knife is it's made completely in the United States, which if you know Medford, that's one of his big like selling points. Like, hey, my knives are made 100% in the US. Big, military guy, veteran guy, just a lot of, I don't know, patriotism kind of oozing out of that guy's veins or skin, whatever. So yeah, that's one of the highlights is this is completely made in the United States. The website even talks about where some of the materials come from. So like these scales are injection molded in Arizona. The titanium is actually from Ohio, which is cool because that's where I'm from. And then the steel is, I think, crucible steel. So it's out of New York is what the site says, at least. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not like, only buy American stuff all the time, but it is pretty neat to see a piece that is 100% made in America. So, it's getting more common, I guess, just depending on the cost and stuff like that in the market. But yeah, so that's pretty neat. The other big thing about this knife is the, it's like modular. Is it modularism or essentially you can tear this thing down and maintain it, which is cool. But then they've designed it to be very customizable, I guess is a better word. So you can see here these titanium screws. They're just Torx, I don't know what size. But yeah, so you take these, you loosen these two screws, and then ASK actually sells different accessories that you can put into the knife to sort of make it your own. So they sell, or they're working on getting those to market. They're on pre-order now, a lot of them. But you can get like a different style blade. You can get like a Warncliffe, a drop point maybe, or not a drop point, like a Bowie blade or something like that. Go on the ASK website and check it out. There's a bunch of different stuff. They sell a sighting tool, which would be like a replacement for this chisel maybe, like to sight your gun in, I believe. They sell a tool to clean guns, I think. And then they sell a bunch of different scales, like scale colors, which those are pretty much all available as far as I know. They have like gray and blue, yellow, they have a different orange. So those are three of the biggest selling points. Completely made in the US, very customizable and very high quality materials and build. And I gotta say, when they first announced this knife, I was really excited. I was like, finally there's something like a Swiss Army knife that's customizable, that's much higher quality, that's made in the United States, and that has some really useful tools. And I was really excited about picking one up as soon as they announced them. But then what happened was they announced they were on sale and sold a bunch through their website. But then I don't think they were very clear about the fact that it was a pre-order. So then people gave ASK their money and didn't receive a knife for like 3-4 months, which isn't really a good thing. So I was glad that I didn't get in on that. I thought that was kind of crappy, but at the same time, maybe they were working out the kinks And as far as I know, everyone got their knives. So I guess in the end it worked out okay, but they just didn't handle that very well. So I got a little gun shy, I guess, about picking one of these up. However, Blademan's Knife Shop, the store that I go to in Fort Wayne all the time, they just got some of these in, and so that's the bottle opener. They just got some of these in, and I was like, all right, so finally one of my favorite retailer has some in stock in hand. Time to buy. And man, can I tell you, this knife does not disappoint at all, even considering the price, which I'll tell you in a second. So there are going to be different versions. There's one with like blue scales with a sax style blade or something, and I think the same two secondary tools as this one. There's one with gray scales that Blademan's also had, and I think it just has these two tools. It doesn't have a knife blade. It's like if you wanted to take it, I don't know, maybe on an airplane, although this might be considered a knife. They have a few others, but this is called the Jefferson model, and it comes with these two secondary tools, which you can see here. This is a chisel or a scraper, and then it's also a 1/4-inch hex, which can be used as a nail puller, which I don't think I've ever seen on any like Swiss Army knife or multi-tool or anything. So it's pretty unique. But you can see here that it sort of incrementally decreases in width. So yeah, you could use it as a nail puller. This side is a bottle opener and a regular screwdriver on the end there. And then of course you have the knife blade here, which I always get my knife blade styles mixed up. I think this is a drop point. You can see here, has the nail nick, as do all the tools. You can see them on this side. So the steel on all of the tools is S45 VN, which is cool. I like that they use something more middle tier to high end, as opposed to just going to like 20 CV or like M390. In most circumstances, and I don't use my knives a lot, but in most circumstances, you're not going to need something like M390. Especially on a knife like this, where this is just my take, but you're going to use it a lot. You're going to use it to open boxes. You're going to use it to, I don't know, cut an apple. You're going to use it to trim a pencil. Just a bunch of different, I don't know, small tasks. And it's probably going to need sharpened fairly frequently because it'll probably get a lot of use. I would rather have a middle to upper grade steel like S45 VN that's going to be easier to sharpen than like a top tier steel, than have a top tier steel that may have a little bit better edge retention. And I'm assuming that's probably what Ask was going for with this. So, and then I'm sure they also just wanted to commonize the steel. Like they're not going to make a bottle opener, you know, or a chisel out of M390. So yeah, I think they really did a good job of sort of bridging the gap between like having too low tier of a steel and having a steel that really wasn't necessary. So I really appreciate that. Let's get into the blade, or the finishes a little bit. So I talked about the fit and finish being a high point on this knife, and you can see it really is. Like the blade is not quite perfectly centered. It favors the left just a tad, but it's pretty close. And then all the tools you can see there, they fit into the body of the knife nice and snug, but they don't contact each other. And then when you open them, like this bottle opener, you can see it doesn't, I think that's just oil. Yeah, it doesn't have any rub marks, which I see rub marks on knives like this quite a bit because, again, I think this is just oil. Yeah. And then that's because when they produce the knives, and I'm talking about case knives, even though I like case a lot, but when they produce them, their tolerances aren't tight enough. And if you get one with 3 or 4 blades, you often see rubbing on the finish of the different blades or tools. This one, you don't see any of that, and it's because of the tolerancing. It's tight enough to where it can accommodate all of the tools in the handle, nice and snug, but they don't rub. And you can see how nice and parallel that gap is between these two tools and the knife blade. Just really, really well done. And even if you just like handle the knife, just all around, it's really well done. So like the screws, you can see are nice and well machined there. The injection mold is nice on the scales. There's no like flashing or anything like that, or any plastic defects. But yeah, it's just really, really well made. And yeah, I mean, they advertise American quality, made in America, and they advertise the quality as a high point. And it definitely shines in this piece. So I've used this knife probably more than any other knife the past week or so that I've had it. The other big positive to this, which I didn't even know until I bought it, is how light it is. So the liners, I believe, are titanium. The screws are titanium. The back springs are steel. And then this is injection mold plastic. And then of course the blades, and the blade and the tools are steel. But the titanium liners and the plastic scales and the titanium screws make for a really light knife. I bet this thing is around maybe 2 to 3 ounces, but it's extremely easy to carry. You don't notice it in your pocket. And yet at the same time, with it being so well made and with having such thick stock on the tools, you don't worry about damaging it. You can see how thick the stock is on the knife. And it's the same with the other tools. I mean, if you wanted to use this to pry things, you probably could. I mean, it's pretty thick, so yeah, it's just really, really well made. Very easy to carry, very usable. The blade was nice and sharp out of the box. So, you know, do I think this is the best multi-tool style pocket knife out there? Yeah, it certainly presents a pretty strong argument. The only area you might ding it is the price. These are $240, so they're definitely up there. I mean, a Swiss Army knife with comparable tools, you could probably get for 40 bucks. But at the same time, you can't customize it. The materials on the Swiss Army are not going to be as nice. The knife isn't going to hold an edge as well. So yeah, you know, and it's not made in America. These also have an excellent warranty. And yeah, so the price is a little high, but at the same time, for how nice this package is and how easy it is to carry and how much you want to carry it, that's the Ask logo there. I think it's worth the 240 bucks. If you have that much to drop on something, I would suggest checking this thing out. You know, don't get another Benchmade or ZT, or even like another Spyderco PM2. Check out something different. This is a great backup knife. It does fit in your change pocket or your watch pocket. And I've used the knife. It's great. I've used the chisel. We used it for some lottery tickets. It worked great. Bottle opener works great. And yeah, this is just a really great knife overall. All the categories that I think about, like carryability, quality, fit and finish, that kind of fits in with quality, materials, just everything is really, really nice. And I would definitely suggest picking one of these up, especially now that they're available in retailers. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. A little bit longer this time, but I think this piece deserved it. It's a really excellent piece. If you have any questions or comments, leave those below. I'll probably be picking up more of these as they release them. The gray one, maybe not, because it's basically just this one without a knife and gray scales. Yeah, if you did, please leave a like and please subscribe if you haven't, and we will talk to you on the next one. See ya.